But this is railroad ties.
Yeah, railroad ties for on the ground so that we didn't have to go with too much treated lumber, and we can set the 2-bys onto the railroad ties, and they'll last a long time. And plus they got all kinds of mass to them, so this ground is pretty stable. It's called river silt, and it stands up pretty good. But we cribbed this time with 2x10 green treat. We cribbed the edge down from the ties which they were fastened into, as well as each other, and then across the front that doesn't that just has, because it's mid-house, just has dirt, doesn't have a cross beam. So that cross crib piece hitches into the 2 end pieces, and that is for the purpose of if through a lot of walking and or animals digging, that kind of thing, on the outside perimeter of the ties, it's not going to compromise or erosion, going to compromise the stability of the ground this thing is dug into, which is pretty stable, because it'll catch anything that might slough off, and that's the idea anyway. I suppose if it's a massive flood or something like that, it isn't going to make much difference, but that shouldn't happen here. I've been here 37 years and it hasn't happened yet. We've had the water come up through the field so we can put a canoe in it, but never to the high ground where the house is, and this is even higher than where the house is. So otherwise, we're about to put the house on top, which is all screened for a hardware cloth on the bottom to take care of any rodent and animals that might actually chew through the wire. And the upper stretches just mosquito netting to keep the bugs and spiders out. Not that they aren't going to get in there to some degree, but it'll keep a lot of them out. The reason being that they can flatten themselves out, you know, and they fit through the tiniest of things. But this is 1/8" hardware cloth. I usually go with 1/4, but this is 1/8, so nothing's going to go through. I couldn't find 1/4. And the rest is regular window screen, so it's quite small. And
then you got to wrap it in the cedar?
Yeah, we'll wrap it in stockade, up and down, cedar planks, rough side out. So it should smell pretty good. And we'll see what we have to do. We may batten it from the inside, but we may just be able to get away with some caulking if there ends up being any gaps. And we'll stagger it. We'll, like you would building with logs, big end up, little end down. Just means that the next log in place is the big end down and the little end up. You keep switching them, and that way you attain more or less even progression across. You put all the big ends on the end and little ones on the top, or vice versa. It's going to tip one way or the other. And it looks better that way too. It looks like full log, even though these are just slab. But I have built full log outhouses before, but it, only because the clients wanted it, I guess, and they came out nice. But it's a lot of material that you don't need going into it. Anyway, we're about to move the thing over on top of the hole before it's so heavy that we can't.
All right. Well, that'll be part 2. And yeah, looking good. All right, here we go.